Hi, we're in the academy today and we're going to be using the video system that I use when I teach here, which is GASP. We're looking at Tiger here. Now, obviously, this was when I was teaching him last week. Of course, he was in the other day and he's just like, Si, can you help me out? And obviously, I'm here to help him. But we're going to be talking about sequence, and I use a 3-box system that I'm going to explain to you now. I think hopefully it makes sense. I'd use it with a lot of my pupils. So here we have Tiger in 2007. I did a lot of work with him back then, obviously. I'd like to keep it on the quiet, so don't tell anyone. I let other people take the credit for his majors and whatever. But, you know, deep down, I know I did most of the work for him. So what we've got here is in the backswing, and this is a kind of 3-box system, as I've said to you guys, that I use. If I were to draw 3 boxes on Tiger here, obviously need an A level in, or a degree in computing now to be good. So I've drawn 3 boxes here, and I usually call it box 1 here, box 2 and box 3. Now, in a good backswing, we're going to want to use box 1, so that's your shoulders and your chest and upwards, to really wind up here against box 2. Box 2 is going to hold, so his legs and his bottom half, his midriff is going to hold, and box 1 is going to turn really hard against that. So if we play Tiger now in the backswing, as he turns across here, you can see how he really builds that top half against the bottom half. And we can see how shoulders have turned to 90 degrees here. You can see he's resisted here. The weight's moved across. I think if I do it again sort of slowly there, if you can kind of look at a point behind him. So if I gave you an arrow here, this again, just to shoot in the foot of anyone that says you must keep your head still or you must keep your head must never move. This is Tiger back in pretty much his prime here. Can you see how his head does move across slightly? So it's not a huge amount, but from this angle, his head has moved across. So what we're going to do is he's now wound himself into his right leg. He's got a nice bit of width, so his arms have gone into this box 3. So box 1 has turned hard, box 2 has tried to stop that, box 3 has now got his arms in it. Now, this is what we were talking about sequence. So in the downswing, in a good downswing, and he was relatively good at it, as we know, what we want to do is we want to use box 2 to turn and move back to the target. We want box 3, our arms, to drop down into this box. And really, box 1 here isn't used at the moment, coming back into impact. We want to try and not use our chest early. And what I spend all my time with, as we talk about in other videos and now, is that we have this shoulder always works too quickly for most people. And they don't use their bottom half enough, and they certainly don't move their arms enough. So if we watch him now as we sequence it down, you'll see as he goes forward now, you can see the bottom half is doing a lot of work here. Look, we've moved almost out of that box forward. Conceivably, whoever's videoing this is moving slightly, so I wouldn't get too caught up in that there isn't a little bit of video move on the way down here. But you can see how much more led and how much more aggressively and rotated his belt buckle and his bottom half is here, His bottom half is here. You can see, although it's a little blurry, how his hands and arms have now dropped into the bottom of this box. They've gone from top to bottom. Here's his arms here. So we've got his hands here, obviously arms here. His weight and the bottom half, so box 2 here, has worked hard forward into this leg. And you can almost see how really his shoulders have gone from 90 to sort of almost, I don't know, let's say 20 degrees shut as opposed to 90 degrees shut. So this has worked really hard. This has worked really hard. He's now going to go another frame or 2 into impact there. So now again, look, almost the shoulders are back to where they started. They're nice and parallel to where we want to go. His belt buckle and weight is now into his left leg, and his belt buckle is starting to look over here. And you can see the arm box, he's gone from here straight into, nearly into impact here. Now, this is when he's then going to use box 1 again and the whole of his right side. So now as he fires here, you can see how the whole of his right side hits through. And that's from sort of here, impact is where then again, I would say box 1 and the whole of all of the boxes. So this side, the whole of the right side of box 2 and the whole of the right side of box 1. All of these 3 boxes from this point hit full out through the ball there. And you can see when he finishes, that whole right side, everything's moved forward. So the box 3, arms have dropped down. Box 2, hips have turned into that left leg. Everything's moved forward. And box 1 has done all of its work in the backswing. It's done very little in the start of the downswing. And then from about here, again, it's reduced and produced all that last punch, that nice late hit as we call it. And you can see how he's created that. If you want to use the term lag, he's created the lag by using box 2 and not box 1. And I spend my life with people that want to use box 1 too much. They don't use box 2 at all, and they don't really use box 3. So please make sure that you aren't one of those people that uses box 1 too much in the downswing and doesn't use box 2 or 3. Hope that makes sense, and have a great weekend.